Hi, so I'd like to take some time today and go over some of the basic requirements when you do veil. You know, there's certain tricks and certain things you really got to keep in mind all the time. It doesn't matter what technique you're learning, it's always the same basic ideas we want to keep in mind. The basic thing with veil is that most people really think that, you know, because the veil looks so pretty, you know, when you move and it looks kind of wavy and relaxed, it kind of, for most people, it looks like it's effortless. And it isn't, okay? That's like quite a lot of work, and your arms work really, really hard. And a lot of times what I like to do is to just really drop the veil and see how my arms are moving without the veil, because you really get to realize how much speed I'm involving, you know, when I move my arms with the veil. You know, it looks like this. It's a lot of straight arms and a lot of shoulder work, okay, and back muscles as well. So I want you to remember to keep these ideas in mind. The veil does not move by itself, okay? The veil only moves when you move fast, and because it's fabric, you know, and of course it depends on the type of veil, but the heavier the veil, the more work you have to do, of course, to lift it. But the veil doesn't lift itself. If you move your arms really slow, you're going to end up with this, you know? And it doesn't look pretty, but so you got to remember to keep your arms moving fast. That's an important rule with veil. Arms must be going as fast as you can all the time. The second rule you got to remember, which is what I said before too, is you got to make sure you keep your arms straight. There are very few moves, and as you watch the other videos when I teach different veil technique, you will notice that there are some moves where I say, you know, you got to bend your arms here, okay? Or I say, you know, you got to make sure that you only use your wrist and you don't use your shoulder. But in general, to make the veil move, especially when you're just turning around with it, you got to engage your shoulder muscles. So remember, you got to move your arms fast. Engage the shoulders as much as you can. And keep your arms straight. We want the veil to stay away from your body. So this does not do it, you know. You can't do little waves like this with the arms really close to you. The arms have to be away from the body all the time like this. Push out, okay? It makes for faster movements because when your arms are straight, it's easy to engage your shoulder muscles, you know? So it makes for faster moves because the shoulders are moving, but it also keeps the veil away from your body so it doesn't touch you. So but that's mostly from the side, like moving like this, sideways. So the veil's not going to end up on my body from the side. But how about from the back? Many times we end up with the veil being tangled or, you know, trying to do a cross and then it falls like this. So the key here, the other rule that we have to remember with veil is that not only, and I've heard a lot of other dancers that would say, don't do that. I'm telling you to do it. It is a must. You have to do that in veil. Normally when you spin, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about, most dancers will tell you don't move your arms back like this when you turn. That's true if you're spinning without the veil. If I'm just turning, I need to keep my arms next to me, like this. But I hear a lot of dancers say the same thing, even with veil. And it's just not practical with veil. You must move your arms far back from your body when you're using the veil, because otherwise the veil is going to get tangled and going to touch you all the time. So what I'm talking about is if you're wearing a veil, you need to be turning like this, pushing the veil back. Not only that it's going to keep it away from you, but it's going to make other moves much easier because you have enough space. So as you can see, I've got enough space here. So if I try to do a cross, it will be so easy to do it. But if I had the veil like right here and I'm spinning, you know, at the same level, this is fine to do when you're just spinning. But if you're going to be doing other moves, you need to be moving the arms back, so when you're ready to do something else, you have all the space. But if I keep the veil like this, and I try to do a cross, chances are the veil is going to get stuck on my body, and it's just too close, okay? So remember, the other rule is you got to keep your arms back. That hurts if you're going to have to practice veil for an hour, I know that. So take breaks if you need it, but it is necessary with veil that you push your arms back. So the other thing that you got to remember, which is a rule when you practice the veil, is how you're holding the veil. A lot of times people kind of bunch it up, you know. So I want to show you how to hold it the easy way, without having to think about it too much, and you gotta hold it that way the whole time. If you're practicing the veil for an hour, for example, in a class, you should be holding it the exact same way, the exact same spot for an hour, okay? So what you gotta do here is you gotta keep your fingers, all of them, underneath the veil, and then your thumb right here on top. And you only lock the veil with your thumb, but don't press too hard. A lot of times I see people press it really hard, and by the time they're done with the class, there's a dent on their fingers. Relax. You can hold it without having to work really hard on it. So just bring it as close as you can, and then drop your thumb down, and then hold it there. And then the same thing on the other side. And you should hold it the same way on both sides. Make sure you leave equal amount of fabric on both sides. And when you hold it in the back, it should be relaxed. It can't be too straight, because then it really does make some moves really hard to do. So make sure you relax back here. Same amount of fabric is left on both sides. All your fingers underneath. Your thumb is on top, and you are relaxed. Now when you bring in the veil to the front, what's going to happen is your thumb is going to be underneath, and then your fingers are on top. And then same thing happens again as you go back. We're switching again, fingers underneath on top. And that's it. That's all really how you need to hold the veil. You don't need to be doing anything fancy with your hands, and definitely don't bunch it up. A lot of times you see this, like that. Don't bunch it up, because ultimately you're going to end up doing something wrong, and then you have to drop and then start over again. So those are some basic rules I want you guys to remember, to keep in mind all the time when you're practicing veil. Remember, your arms must be moving fast. You need to engage the shoulder muscles, and the arms must be straight. Remember to keep the veil in the same spot all the time, and to not try to use your fingers and move your hand in the veil. Start with the same position and keep it there all the time. Remember to hold your veil and not let it drop, because it's so hard to grab it halfway through your dance. Remember to push your arms back as much as you can as you spin and as you do different moves with the veil, and keep the veil away from your body as much as you can. So hopefully you guys will keep these in mind all the time. If you do, it will make learning the veil really, really easy, and you will get it a lot faster than if you don't keep these rules in mind, because what's going to happen is you're going to keep trying the same move, doing the right technique, but you're just not keeping these little tricks in mind, and it's just going to make it really hard and kind of challenging. So hopefully you guys find these little tips helpful. If you have any other questions or have other tips you want to share with others, feel free to post them on the website, dispeldanceradioblog.com. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.